press the bell icon on the YouTube app and never miss another update.
Hello students, welcome back to the video classes. Today let us move on to the part 5 of amines. In the previous class we discussed about the basic character of amines in gaseous phase and in aqueous phase. In aqueous phase, the basic character of amines depends on three factors. First one is positive inductive effect. Second one is hydration effect. Third one is stearic hindrance, and in which positive inductive effect and hydration effect are directly proportional to basic strength, whereas stearic effect is inversely proportional to basic strength. Means higher the stearic hindrance, so lesser will be the basic character, or weaker will be the amines. Weak base will be the amine. So this is the factors which influences the basic character of amines: inductive effect and the positive inductive effect and the hydration effect, or you can call it as a solvation effect, and the stearic hindrance. And as I said, so overall effect is that secondary amines are always more basic, but depending on the nature of the alkyl group in aqueous phase, so the next highly basic may be primary or the tertiary. So that mainly depends on the magnitude of positive inductive effect and also stearic hindrance. So magnitude of positive inductive effect and the stearic hindrance. Now let us consider the basic character of methyl amines. Example taken: basic character of methyl amines in aqueous phase. In aqueous phase, this you have to remember. In case of gaseous phase, I have already given tertiary, secondary, primary, that is the order. But in aqueous phase, what is the order of basic nature of methyl amines? That is methylamine, dimethylamine and trimethylamine, that is isomeric methyl amines, is in the order secondary, primary and tertiary. So this is the order, which means to say dimethylamine is more basic than methylamine. So which is more basic than trimethylamine, which is more basic than trimethylamine. So the reason for this is, what is the reason? Here we have to consider the positive inductive effect of methyl group and the stearic effect. So in case of primary, that is methylamine, so positive inductive effect given by one methyl group and stearic hindrance is also given by one methyl group. But here what happens? The positive inductive effect is given by 3 methyl groups and stearic hindrance is also given by 3 methyl group, which means to say trimethylamine. In trimethylamine, the magnitude of positive inductive effect is very, very high. So if we consider only the positive inductive effect, then trimethylamine will be more basic than methylamine. But at the same time, it also exerts stearic hindrance. Because of the bulkiness of 3 methyl group, it also gives the stearic repulsion, the repulsion due to the bulky methyl group. So the stearic effect is, stearic hindrance is so high that it counterbalances the high magnitude of positive inductive effect. So because of positive inductive effect, how much of basic strength of the trimethylamine which is increased, again that much of basic strength is decreased due to stearic effect of, or the stearic hindrance of 3 methyl groups, which means to say the positive inductive effect is counterbalanced with the steric hindrance of 3 methyl groups here. So here we cannot consider either positive inductive effect to explain the basic nature of trimethylamine. Is that clear? So since here there are 3 methyl groups, the magnitude of positive inductive effect is very high compared to that in methylamine, but due to steric hindrance, this steric hindrance is so high that it counterbalances the positive inductive effect. It counterbalances the positive inductive effect, which means to say, ಈಗ positive inductive effect given by 3 methyl groups na ತಗೊಂಡಾಗ basic strength ಇಷ್ಟು increase ಆಗಿರುತ್ತೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ because of steric hindrance. So again, how much of basic strength is increased due to positive inductive effect, it get decreased because of steric hindrance. Now, so we cannot compare the inductive effect and the steric hindrance of methylamine and the trimethylamine. Then what is left? It is left with hydration effect. So on the basis of hydration effect, we had to give the basic strength of methylamine and the trimethylamine. In case of methylamine, hydration effect is more. So here the hydration effect is more in case of primary amine because of the presence of 2 hydrogen or 2 NH bonds. As the number of NH bonds goes on increases, hydration effect increases. On the basis of that, you can say, since hydration effect is more in methylamine, this is more basic than trimethylamine. So this is the reason why the methylamine is more basic than trimethylamine. What is the reason? So in case of trimethylamine, the high positive inductive effect is counterbalanced with the steric hindrance by the 3 methyl groups. Therefore, the basic strength mainly depends on hydration effect here, since hydration effect is more in methylamine than compared to that in trimethylamine. So methylamine is more basic. Let us compare the ethylamines basic strength of ethylamines in aqueous phase. Again in aqueous phase, what is the order? Here also first comes C2H5 twice NH diethylamine, that is secondary, and then comes triethylamine and then ethylamine. So here it is secondary, tertiary, primary. See here, order of basic character changes when we move from methylamines to ethylamines. In case of ethylamines in aqueous phase, the order of basic nature is secondary is highly basic, then the tertiary, then the primary. What is the reason? The reason here is high magnitude of positive inductive effect of C2H5. And as we know that from methyl to ethyl, the size of the alkyl group increases. When the size of the alkyl group increases, the magnitude of positive inductive effect is also very high. And this positive inductive effect overcome even steric hindrance and also hydration effect. So because of ethyl group here, the magnitude of positive inductive effect of ethyl group so predominates over, you have to write the line like this, predominates over steric hindrance and the hydration effect, that you have to remember. Clear? So because of that reason, you know that positive inductive effect is more in tertiary than in primary, because in primary we have only one ethyl group, but in tertiary we have 3 ethyl groups where the magnitude of positive inductive effect is very high, and it predominates over steric effect and also hydration effect. And as we know that hydration effect is less in tertiary, in spite of this, the magnitude of positive inductive effect increases the basic nature, So this is the order of basic nature of methylamines and ethylamines in the aqueous phase. So this is very important for your board and also for your competitive exams. And in gaseous phase the order is same, tertiary, secondary, primary. But if it comes to the it comes in aqueous phase, the order of basic nature changes here. Okay, now let us move on to the next one, basic nature of or basic character of aromatic amines or the aryl amines. So let us move on to basic character of aryl amines. Basic character of aryl amines. So in case of aryl amines, already we can compare the basic nature of aniline and ammonia. As we know that aniline is less basic than ammonia. As I said, phenyl group exerts negative inductive effect because it is electron withdrawing. So let us consider why these aryl amines are less basic than ammonia. So for that, let us consider the example. See here, aniline containing lone pair of electron which undergoes protonation, and it gives its cation called anilinium ion, and it is a cation, or you can say it is protonated cation. Protonated aniline is nothing but a cation. Remember, this anilinium ion is less stable. It is less stable than aniline. Aniline is more stable. So aniline is more stable compared to that of anilinium ion. So when a cation forward, it is nothing but a product. Say here it is a product here, anilinium ion. If the stability increases, reaction is fast. What is the nature of the reaction here? Protonation. So when anilinium ion is more stable means, so because of its stability, the tendency of protonation of aniline increases. When the protonation tendency of aniline increases, its basic character also increases. But in this case what happens? The cation anilinium ion is less stable. It indicates that protonation tendency of aniline is less. So because of that, basic character also less here. So because anilinium ion is less stable. How it is less stable and why anilinium ion is less stable here? The reason for that is, let me write the resonance structures for this. So let me write the resonance structure for aniline. I'll write the resonating structures for aniline here. See, delocalization of lone pair of electrons of aniline takes place here. So this electrons undergoes delocalization and it displaces here. So we can write the structure double bond NH2. Nitrogen gets the positive charge because of the delocalization of lone pair of electron, and here we will get a negative charge and it displaces here. Then again delocalization of negative charge NH2 plus, and here we have one more bond. We can write one more resonating structure here. This displaces here, and we can write one more resonating structure, and further it displaces to give this structure. So how many resonance structures that we can write for aniline? So we can write 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There are 5 resonance structures. In resonance structures 1 and 5, there is only lone pair of electron, but in 2, 3, 4, there is a charge separation. Therefore, contribution of these 3 structures towards stability is less. As we know that in resonating structures, as the number of resonance structures goes on increases, stability of the molecule increases. But at the same time, if the resonating structures are having the charge separation, means if the resonance structures are having both positive and the negative charges, then definitely their contribution towards the stability is less. Now let me write the resonating structures of anilinium ion. So anilinium ion, this is the one resonating structure and this is the second resonating structure. This is second resonating structure. So we can write only 2 Kekulé resonating structure. So these structures are nothing but Kekulé structures, only change in a position of double bond. So we can write only 2 resonance structures for anilinium ion. And second point here, there is a positive charge on the nitrogen. As we know that nitrogen is electronegative atom. When an electronegative atom possesses positive charge, then its stability, contribution towards the stability will be less. So that way also we need to consider in resonance structures. So since it containing only 2 resonating structures, this is less stable compared to that of aniline. When the protonated cation is less stable, anilinium ion is less stable, the process of protonation is less, means the tendency of protonation tendency of aniline is less, means proton accepting tendency is less. When the proton accepting tendency is less, the basic strength also decreases. So therefore you can say aniline is less basic than ammonia. So this is the reason. So because anilinium ion is less stable, therefore its tendency towards protonation or proton accepting tendency is less. Now consider the resonating structures of aniline here. In the resonating structures of aniline, so it causes positive mesomeric effect here because delocalization of the lone pair of electrons of the nitrogen takes place towards the conjugated system and thereby it exerts positive mesomeric effect. So because of the delocalization of lone pair of electrons, it exerts the negative charges at ortho and para position, which means to say because of the delocalization of lone pair of electrons, it increases the electron density on the benzene ring. When the electron density on the benzene ring increases, its reactivity towards electrophilic substitution also increases. Then you can say NH2 group in aniline is activating group. It is nothing but an activating group. And remember, this NH2 group is highly activating group. It is highly activating group and it is ortho and para directing, group because it increases the electron density on the benzene ring, especially at the ortho and para positions, and because of this reason it is ortho and para directing. And remember, NH2 group present in aniline is highly activating group. Highly activating group means it is very difficult to get mono substituted product. So mono substituted product, to get mono substituted product is very less here. So it may give di substitution or the tri substitution very easily because it is highly activating group. So in order to get the mono substituted product, we need to protect the NH2 group, means we need to decrease the activating nature of the NH2 group. ಈ ಪಾಯಿಂಟನ್ನು ತುಂಬ ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟು, ನೆನಪಿಟ್ಕೊಳ್ಬೇಕು. ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರೋಫಿಲಿಕ್ ಸಬ್ಸ್ಟಿಟ್ಯೂಷನಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ. ಸೊ NH2 group present in aniline is highly activating group and it is highly reactive. Therefore, during electrophilic substitution reaction, so it easily gives disubstituted and trisubstituted products. Even it gives, in some conditions, it gives meta products also. Even it gives meta products also. Therefore, we need to reduce the reactivity of NH2 group present in aniline to get mono-substituted product. Mono-substituted ortho and para products. Ortho matte para products namige beku antandre we need to go with we need to protect the NH2 group present in aniline. So NH2 group alli iruvanta aniline alli iruvanta NH2 group anna protect ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾಗುತ್ತೆ. Protection means we need to reduce the reactivity of NH2 group, okay, to get only mono product as a measure product. So ortho and para directing nature of the NH2 group is because of it develops negative charges in the resonance structures. So this is about the basic character of aryl amine, say aniline and its derivatives. So now let us move on to what are all the substituents which affects the basic character of aniline. So let us consider effect of substituents on the basic character of aniline. So as we know that in aniline NH2 group exerts positive mesomeric effect, thereby it increases the electron density on the benzene ring. Delocalization of the lone pair of electrons present on a nitrogen takes place. So here delocalization takes place. Already the delocalization, if it takes place, means the availability of these electrons for protonation will be less and basic strength decreases. Whenever a benzene ring is substituted with electron withdrawing group, what happens? Delocalization of the lone pair of electron is increases. Thereby availability of lone pair of electrons for protonation further decreases. Availability of these electrons for protonation decreases because of the presence of electron withdrawing group, and this electron withdrawing group exerts negative mesomeric effect and also negative inductive effect. So electron withdrawing group on the benzene ring of aniline exerts negative mesomeric effect and the negative inductive effect, and this exerts at ortho and para position but not at meta position. No negative mesomeric effect at meta position. You know the reason. And negative inductive effect is exerted at ortho, para, ortho, meta and para position. So depending on the magnitude of these overall effect, mesomeric effect and the inductive effect, the electron withdrawing group decreases the basic strength. So electron withdrawing group decreases the basic strength. So electron withdrawing group decreases the basic character of aniline. Decreases the basic character of aniline here because availability of these electrons for protonation decreases and hence the basic character decreases. Clear? Now what are the electron withdrawing group? You can say NO2 group, CHO group, CN group and COOH group. So these groups decreases the basic strength. So for example, when nitro group is attached at ortho, meta, para positions, then what is the order? The order is, what is the order? Here you can say first comes meta, nitro, aniline, and first comes aniline. Aniline is more basic than meta-nitroaniline, then para-nitroaniline, and then comes ortho-nitroaniline. Ortho-nitroaniline, because nitro group is electron withdrawing, it decreases the basic nature of aniline. Okay. Now, second, if electron releasing group is present on Benson ring, what happens? If electron releasing group is present, then the availability of these electrons for protonation is more, and thereby it increases the basic strength, because it cannot take the electron from the nitrogen, as itself is electron releasing. So, electron releasing group exerts positive mesomeric effect and positive inductive effect, and the mesomeric effect is at ortho and para position, but inductive effect is at ortho, meta and para position. Depending on the magnitude of these two effects, we can give the basic nature of aniline. Okay. Now, so it increases the basic strength, therefore electron releasing group increases the basic character. So, the example is methyl group, NH2 group, OH group. So, all these groups exerts, alkoxy group, all these groups exerts the positive mesomeric effect, and thus it increases the basic character. So, one condition you have to remember here, any substituent group, irrespective of the nature of the substituent group, if it is present at ortho position, then the basic nature of ortho substituted aniline is less than the aniline, whatever may be the nature of the substituent, whether it may be electron releasing or electron withdrawing. Ortho substitution means whenever this group is at ortho position, then it decreases the basic nature. So, even it decreases the basic nature of that ortho substituted aniline is less basic than aniline. So, ortho substituted aniline is less basic than aniline. This effect is called ortho effect. So, this effect we studied in carboxylic acids due to ortho effect, where the acidic strength increases, but here due to ortho effect the basic strength decreases, because when the substituent group is attached, note down this, when the substituent group is attached here, see, this is aniline and this is methyl group. When any substituent group is attached at ortho position, due to steric hindrance, what happens? This NH2 group leave the plane of Benson ring. It move away from the plane of Benson ring. When it move away from the plane of Benson ring means availability of electrons present on the nitrogen for basic character is not there. Availability of electrons for protonation which is present on a nitrogen is not available for protonation, as it is not in the plane of Benson ring. So, because of that reason the basic character decreases. So, it leaves the plane of the Benson ring due to steric hindrance. And one more you can say, after the formation of or after protonation, see here, this is methyl group is at ortho position, and here we have protonated aniline. After protonation it gives a cation, but this protonation is restricted or inhibited because of repulsion between the adjacent hydrogen atoms. So ಇಲ್ಲಿ hydrogen ಮತ್ತೆ hydrogen atom ನಡುವೆ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, repulsion start ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. If it is a methyl group, consider it is a orthotolidine. In case of orthotolidine, there is an SIP. SIP means steric inhibited protonation, means it restricts the protonation. It restricts the protonation of aniline because of repulsion between the adjacent hydrogen atoms. And because of that reason, orthotolidine is less basic than aniline, and already it is substituted at ortho position. Any substituent group is present at ortho position. Ortho substituted aniline, irrespective of the nature of the group, may be electron releasing or electron withdrawing, then it is less basic than aniline, and this effect is called ortho effect. Okay, so this is about the basic nature of aniline. Let me give the example here. Toluene, that is methyl substituted aniline. If we go on, then para-tolidine is more basic than metatolidine, which is more basic than aniline, and which is more basic than orthotolidine. So electron releasing effect prakara, orthotolidine must be more basic than meta and aniline and para. Para, meta, aniline gintanu ಏನಿರಬೇಕಿತ್ತು, more basic ಇರಬೇಕಿತ್ತು. But here what happens, it is less basic due to ortho effect. Okay, so this is about the first property of amines. It's nothing but the basic character of amines. Now let us move on to the second chemical property called alkylation. Second one, alkylation. So this alkylation reaction that you have studied in haloalkanes, one of the important nucleophilic substitution reactions given by alkyl halides with ammonia and its derivatives. So second reaction is nothing but alkylation. So in case of alkylation, let us take primary amine. When it reacts with alkyl halide side methyl iodide, one of the hydrogen atoms of methylamine is replaced by methyl group, alkyl group. The successive replacement of hydrogen atom of amine by alkyl group takes place, so that this is primary amine, methylamine, with the elimination of hydrogen iodide. It gives a secondary amine, dimethylamine. Further it reacts with one more molecule of methyl iodide. With the elimination of hydrogen iodide, it gives trimethylamine. So all these reactions are nucleophilic substitution. Primary amine gives secondary, tertiary amine, and for this reaction, primary amine itself is a nucleophile. For this reaction, secondary amine itself is a nucleophile. Now let us consider whether tertiary amine is a nucleophile. Yes, it is a neutral nucleophile because of the presence of lone pair of electrons on the nitrogen. Further it undergoes reaction with one more molecule of methyl iodide, and it gives tetramethyl ammonium iodide. So tetramethyl ammonium iodide, and it is a quaternary salt. And remember, in this alkylation reaction, even we can distinguish primary, secondary and tertiary amine. How? If a given amine consumes 2 moles of alkyl halide for its conversion to quaternary ammonium salt. Here the final product is quaternary ammonium salt. So primary amine requires 3 moles of alkyl halide to convert itself to quaternary ammonium salt. Secondary amine requires 2 moles of alkyl halide to convert itself to quaternary ammonium salt, whereas tertiary amine required only 1 mole of alkyl halide to convert itself to tetramethyl ammonium iodide, that means to say quaternary ammonium salt. On the basis of this, we can determine or we can distinguish primary, secondary and the tertiary amines. If a given amine consumes 2 moles of alkyl halide for conversion to quaternary ammonium salt, then you can say it is secondary. If it demands 3 moles of alkyl halide, then you can say it is primary. If it demands only 1 molecule of alkyl halide, then you can say it is tertiary. So, on the basis of number of moles of alkyl halide, you can give whether it is primary, secondary or the tertiary. Now, let us move on to the second reaction, say acylation. Second one, acylation. Sorry, third reaction, acylation. What do you mean by acylation? Replacement of hydrogen atom of amines by acyl group. What is an acyl group? Acyl group is nothing but COR group. Again it is a nucleophilic substitution. Replacement of hydrogen by acyl group. What are all the reagents that we can use for the substitution of acyl group? You can use acid chloride or the acid anhydride or the ester also. Even you can use ester here. Whenever the amines react with acid chloride or the acid anhydride, hydrogen atom present in the amines is replaced by acyl group, and that results in the formation of N-substituted amide. So, this is the final product. When the replacement of hydrogen by acyl group takes place, the product is N-substituted amide. As I said, it involves the replacement of hydrogen by acyl group. Primary and secondary amines undergo acylation, but not the tertiary. Why? In tertiary amine, there is no replaceable hydrogen. So, because in tertiary amine, nitrogen is not bonded to hydrogen there. There is no hydrogen which is bonded to nitrogen in case of tertiary amine. So, because of this reason, the tertiary amine does not undergo acylation. It is given only by primary and the secondary amines. Okay. Now, let us consider the example. Let me take the ethyl amine here. First one, C2H5NH2. So, let me write this hydrogen like this, hydrogen, and here is a lone pair of electron. This is ethyl amine or ethanamine, and it is primary. When it reacts with acetyl chloride, let me write acetyl chloride in this way. Acetyl chloride, that is CH3COCl. This is acetyl chloride. Acetyl chloride. Okay. Now, what happens during this reaction? So, this reaction takes place in the presence of pyridine as a catalyst. Pyridine as a catalyst. So, I will give why we need to use pyridine as a catalyst here. Now, this lone pair of electron, nitrogen containing lone pair of electron attacks the carbon, and this electron shifts on the oxygen to complete the tetravalency of the carbon. Now, what you get? C2H5NH, and it gets the positive charge, CH3O minus and Cl. Now, what happens? This proton releases and this bond shifts here, so that the positive charge on the nitrogen is get neutralized, and at the same time chloride ion eliminates, and to satisfy the tetravalency, this negative charge shifts between carbon and oxygen. Then what is the product? Product will be C2H5 NH COCH3 with HCl. See here, what is the byproduct? Byproduct is HCl. So because of this reason, we are using pyridine as a catalyst. Pyridine is a base. It neutralizes HCl so that it facilitates the reaction in a backward direction. It makes the reaction irreversible, otherwise the reaction becomes reversible. So it facilitates the speed of a reaction by neutralizing the byproduct HCl. Then what is this? Acetamide. CH3CONH2 is acetamide, but one hydrogen gets substituted here, that is nothing but ethyl group, therefore it is N-ethyl acetamide. N-ethyl acetamide. N-ethyl acetamide is the product, and this is about the primary amine. What about the secondary amine? So you can take the example of diethyl amine. Diethyl amine, when it undergoes reaction with acetyl chloride, in a simple way we can write the reaction like this, and the reaction takes place in the presence of pyridine as a catalyst. Pyridine as a catalyst. So what you get? C2H5 taken twice, NCOCH3 plus HCl. Only one hydrogen is there in the secondary amine. This is replaced by acetyl group with the elimination of HCl. Then two substituents gets attached here, N, N diethyl acetamide. N, N diethyl acetamide is the name, the product obtained when secondary amine reacts with the acetyl chloride. Now, if you take tertiary amine, then if you take a tertiary amine, see, tertiary amine is C2H5 thrice N, triethyl amine. There is no hydrogen here to substitute by acyl group. Therefore, tertiary amines may be aliphatic or aromatic, does not undergo acylation. So, now let me give the acylation of aromatic amine. Let me take aniline here. Aniline. Take an example of aniline. C6H5NH2. It undergoes acylation in presence of, what is this? Acetic anhydride or ethanoid. What is the name of the reagent? Ethanoyl anhydride. You can say it is CH3COOH. It is a derivative of acetic acid, hence it is called acetic anhydride. So what is the IUPAC name of acetic acid? Ethanoic acid, therefore its name is ethanoic anhydride. This is the IUPAC name, and it undergoes reaction in presence of pyridine as a catalyst. Pyridine as a catalyst. See here, one group combines with the hydrogen and it gives C6H5NH COCH3 with the formation of one molecule of acetic acid. And what is this called? N substituted, that is N-phenyl acetamide. N-phenyl acetamide. N-phenyl acetamide. So the amines not only reacts with aliphatic acid chloride, but they also react with aromatic acid chloride, say benzoyl chloride. Benzoyl chloride. So let me give an example. Ethyl amine reacts with benzoyl chloride, C6H5COCl. What is this called? Benzoyl chloride. This is benzoyl chloride. But this reaction takes place in the presence of sodium hydroxide as a catalyst, strong base as a catalyst. So we can write it as NHH, HCl eliminates and it gives C2H5NH, COC6H5 with the liberation of HCl. Since it takes place, the reaction takes place in presence of benzoyl chloride, this reaction is called benzylation. Benzylation, which means to say amines not only reacts with aliphatic acid chloride, but it also reacts with aromatic acid chloride, say benzoyl chloride. With benzoyl chloride, the catalyst is sodium hydroxide here because it readily reacts with this benzoyl chloride. Therefore, we are using sodium hydroxide here. So here you will get substituted benzamide. C6H5CONH2 is nothing but benzamide. Substituted benzamide. What substituted? N-ethyl. N-ethyl benzamide. Or benzenamide you can write, or benzamide you can write. N-ethyl direct agi nitrogen ಗೆ attach ಆಗಿರೋದ್ರಿಂದ N-ethyl benzamide is the product, and this reaction is called benzylation. What is the name of this reaction? The name of this reaction is nothing but Schotten-Baumann reaction. Schotten-Baumann reaction. So name of the reaction is Schotten-Baumann reaction. Here in this reaction benzylation takes place. So this is about the acylation of amines, and it is given by only primary and the secondary amines as they are containing replaceable hydrogen. Okay. Now let us move on to the next reaction called carbyl amine reaction, fourth one. Carbyl amine reaction. Fourth one, carbyl amine reaction. The name itself gives, it is nothing but a formation of carbyl amine whenever the amine reacts with chloroform and alcoholic KOH. And one condition in this reaction is only primary aliphatic and aromatic amines give this reaction. Very important. So only primary aliphatic and aromatic amines give this reaction called carbyl amine reaction. In this carbyl amine reaction, as it is given by RNH2. H2 I can write here like this. It is primary amine, may be alkyl or it may be aryl. Even you can take aniline here. Aryl or the alkyl primary amine. When it is heated with chloroform CHCl3, I have written CHCl3 like this. When it is heated with alcoholic KOH, the mixture should be heated with alcoholic KOH. This symbol is very important. You need to write this symbol. On heating the mixture of primary amine, chloroform in presence of alcoholic KOH, the reaction takes place like this. HCl, second molecule of HCl, third molecule of HCl. So 3 molecules of HCl combines with 3 moles of KOH and it results in the formation of 3 moles of KCl and 3 moles of H2O. So 3 OH is there, combines with 3 hydrogen to give 3 moles of H2O and 3 KOH reacts with 3 moles of HCl to give 3 moles of KCl and 3 moles of H2O. Now what is left here? RNC. RNC, that is alkyl isocyanide. Common name, IUPAC name, alkyl carbyl amine. Hence the reaction is called carbyl amine reaction. The resulting product here is carbyl amine. Alkyl carbyl amine or aryl carbyl amine, alkyl isocyanide, functional group is NC, isocyanide or aryl isocyanide, and it is also called alkane isonitrile. And what is the functional group here? Functional group is NC. It is a functional group in isocyanide and this compound is having foul smell. So offensive odor, you can say, offensive odor. As this compound is having foul smell, bad smell, offensive odor, this reaction is used as a confirmatory test for primary amine. So it is used as confirmatory test for primary amine. Confirmatory test for primary amine. So what is the compound which is formed, the foul smelling product formed in carbylamine test? It is nothing but alkyl isocyanide or alkyl carbylamine or alkane isonitrile. So let me give the example here. Example. Take the example. So write on the first example, first one. So let me take methylamine. Methylamine. You replace R by CH3. What you get? CH3NC, that is methyl isocyanide or methyl carbylamine or ethane isonitrile. See here, ethane, because 2 carbon atoms total. Ethane isonitrile is the IUPAC name, and this is the foul smelling compound which is obtained when methylamine is heated with a mixture of chloroform and alcoholic KOH. Now let us move on to the next example. It is nothing but aniline. So aniline gives phenyl isocyanide. Instead of this CH3, you had to take C6H5. Take on the second example, C6H5, that is aniline. It is also primary amine. Here what you get? Write on the second example. Here you will get C6H5NC, that is phenyl isocyanide or phenyl carbyl amine. So this is the product obtained after carbyl amine reaction. Okay, now let us move on to the next reaction called reaction of amines with nitrous acid. So what do you mean by nitrous acid? Nitrous acid is nothing but nitrous acid. I will give the example here. Reaction with nitrous acid, fifth one, with nitrous acid. So, what do you mean by nitrous acid? HNO2, correct? And as you know that it is less stable or highly unstable, you can say. Therefore, it must be prepared in C2. How to prepare? By treating sodium nitrite in dilute HCl, you will get nitrous acid HNO2 with the formation of NaCl, and this should be at a temperature 0 to 5 degrees centigrade, 273 to 278 Kelvin. So then only you can get nitrous acid. HNO2 is nothing but nitrous acid. So you can write it as HON double bond O. So this is the structure of nitrous acid. What happens when it reacts with primary amine, secondary amine and the tertiary amine? This nitrous acid reacts with primary, secondary and the tertiary aliphatic and aromatic amines, but the products of primary, secondary, tertiary amines are different. Okay. Now, let us consider reaction with primary amines. Now, for primary amine, let me take the methyl amine first. For aliphatic and aromatic, we need to consider. So, let me take the primary amine. Aliphatic primary amine here. So, ethyl amine, NH2. Primary amine, when it reacts with nitrous acid, let me write like this, NOH in presence of HCl. The reaction takes place in presence of, that is, you have to write sodium nitrite in HCl. This is used for the preparation of this nitrous acid. It should be prepared in C2 between the temperature 0 to 5 degrees centigrade. See here, reaction takes place and it gives R N double bond NCl, or you can say R N2 plus Cl minus, and this is called diazonium salt, and this diazonium salt is highly unstable. I took the example here, therefore I will write ethyl group here, ethyl diazonium salt, C2H5, and here it is C2H5 N2 plus Cl minus. But this diazonium salt is highly unstable. It does not exist at all. So that it undergoes hydrolysis. Hydrolysis very easily. H reacts with Cl to give HCl. With the liberation of nitrogen, it forms alcohol. Quantitatively, the nitrogen gases gets liberated with the formation of respective alcohol. Name the gas liberated when primary aliphatic amine, say methylamine or the ethylamine, reacts with nitrous acid. It is nothing but a nitrogen gas. With the liberation of nitrogen gas, the amine gets converted to respective alcohol. Give the reaction to convert amine to alcohol. You have to take primary aliphatic amine, then it gets converted to respective alcohol. If it is aromatic, NH2, that is, you take aniline and it reacts with nitrous acid in presence of HCl. Same condition, 0 to 5 degrees centigrade. So here also it undergoes diazotization to give benzene. I'll write it in C6H5 N double bond N Cl. This is benzene diazonium chloride, BDC, benzene diazonium chloride, with the formation of 2 molecules of water. And as we know that benzene diazonium chloride is less stable, but this is unstable, therefore immediately decomposes. But it decomposes on treating it with the reagent or on heating. But it can exist because we know the benzene diazonium chloride is a very important reacting molecule or the source for the preparation of many aromatic compounds, correct? So aryl halides can be prepared mainly from BDC, Sand-Meyers reaction that we studied in haloalkanes and haloarenes, correct? So this is the reaction of nitrous acid with primary aliphatic and aromatic amines. Now let us move on to the secondary amines. With the secondary amines, what is the product? So with the secondary amines, both the aliphatic and aromatic amines gives N-nitroso alkyl or aryl amines. N substituted amines. What substituted? Nitroso. Nitroso group is N double bond O group. So N substituted nitroso alkyl or aryl amine. Let me take the example. Diethyl amine, when it reacts with nitrous acid, ನೋಡಿ ಬರ್ಕೊಳ್ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಹೇಗೆ ಬರ್ಕೊಳ್ಬೇಕು ಅದು ಗೊತ್ತಾಯ್ತು ಅಂದರೆ, ಸೊ ಆಕ್ಷನ್ ಈ ಕಡೆ ಬಂದಿತ್ತು ಫಸ್ಟ್ ರಿಯಾಕ್ಷನ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ, ಈಗ OH ಬಂದಿದೆ. See here, elimination of water takes place and it results in the formation of C2H5 twice N double bond O. N substituted, that is N-nitroso diethyl amine. Nitroso group gets substituted to nitrogen of amine, hence it is N-nitroso diethyl amine is the product. Now if we take the aryl amine, that is C6H5 NHCH3, that is N-methyl aniline. N-methyl aniline is the secondary aromatic amine. When it reacts with nitrous acid, with the elimination of water, it gives C6H5 NCH3 N double bond O with the formation of water. Here also byproduct is water. Now what is the name? N-nitroso N-methyl aniline. Okay. Now what about the reaction of this nitrous acid with tertiary amine? So let me give it with tertiary amine. Let us move on to the reaction with the tertiary amine. With tertiary amine, aliphatic and aromatic amines gives different products. Let me take the example. Triethyl amine. See here, it is left with the only nitrogen with a lone pair of electron, and it reacts with HNO2. It abstracts the proton and it gives C2H5 thrice NH plus NO2 minus. It gives a salt, that is triethyl. So triethyl ammonium nitrite, TRITE. So it gives a salt called triethyl ammonium nitrite salt, and it is water soluble. It is soluble in water as it is a salt. Okay. Now let us move on to the aromatic tertiary amine. Let me give the example NCH3 twice, that is N, N dimethyl aniline. N, N dimethyl aniline. When it reacts with HON double bond O. So what is the product which forms here? See here, you can write the para product. So here it gives a para product because ortho, at ortho it causes a repulsion. Elimination of water takes place with the para hydrogen and the OH of the nitrous acid. And what's the product you get? You'll get para nitroso. At the para position, the nitroso group gets substituted. See here, the nitrous acid reacts with the para hydrogen. With the elimination of water, what you get? You'll get para nitroso N dimethyl aniline. Para nitroso, N double bond O is at the para position. The name of the product is para nitroso N, N dimethyl aniline. So that is the product obtained when it reacts with nitrous acid. So this is about the reaction of nitrous acid with primary amine and the secondary and the tertiary aliphatic and the aromatic amines. So now let us move on to the reaction with benzene sulfonyl chloride. So let us move on to reaction with benzene sulfonyl chloride. Reaction with benzene sulfonyl chloride. And this benzene sulfonyl chloride is called Hinsberg reagent. Hinsberg reagent. What is benzene sulfonyl chloride? So it is nothing but C6H5SO2 Cl. So this is benzene sulfonyl chloride. I'll write the complete reaction. Benzene sulfonyl chloride, and it is called Hinsberg reagent. One more question. What is Hinsberg reagent? It is benzene sulfonyl chloride. What is the reaction of amines with this benzene sulfonyl chloride? So the reaction of amines are different. Primary amines reacts with benzene sulfonyl chloride. secondary amines reacts with benzene sulfonyl chloride, but tertiary amines does not react with benzene sulfonyl chloride. The reason here, during the reaction, the hydrogen atom of amines are replaced by benzene sulfonyl group. Replacement of the hydrogen by benzene sulfonyl group takes place, and that results in the formation of benzene sulfonamide. So, the name of the product is substituted benzene sulfonamide is the product. So, what is the product of this reaction? Substituted, that is N-substituted benzene sulfonamide. So, sulfonamide, benzene sulfonamide is the product of this reaction. N-substituted benzene sulfonamide is the product of this reaction. So, I will write here N-substituted benzene sulfonamide. Benzene sulfonamide is the product when the amines reacts with benzene, that is Hinsberg reagent. Now, let us consider the reaction, how the reaction takes place here. So, let me give the reaction. As I said, it is nothing but a replacement of hydrogen atom of amines by the benzene sulfonyl group. So, only primary and secondary amine reacts with the Hinsberg reagent, but not the tertiary. By tertiary amine, no reaction and no formation of a product. Now, benzene sulfonyl chloride reacts with ethyl amine C2H5NH2. So, here C6C2H5NH2. One of the hydrogen atom of NH2 is replaced by C6H5SO2. Okay. Now, let me write the reaction like this, and it will be very easy for you to understand the product. So, C2H5NH, I will write one hydrogen like this, Cl, S double bond O, sulfonyl, C6H5 SO2 Cl. Cl reaction takes place like this, and it undergoes reaction. Now, during this reaction, HCl eliminates. So, HCl eliminates and it gives a product called C2H5NH SO2 C6H5 with HCl, and it is a white residue of N-ethyl benzene sulfonamide. N-ethyl benzene sulfonamide, very important. Note down this reaction. N-ethyl benzene sulfonamide. Sulfonamide is a functional group, and SO2 group is electron withdrawing. It is strongly electron withdrawing. As you know the structure, sulfur is bonded to 2 oxygen atom by a multiple bond. Therefore, SO2 group, sulfonyl group here is strongly electron withdrawing. Whenever hydrogen atom is attached to strongly electron withdrawing group, heterolytic cleavage of this bond takes place, and hydrogen eliminates in the form of H+. Then you can say the hydrogen present in N-ethyl benzene sulfonamide is acidic in nature. This hydrogen is acidic in nature. What do you mean by acidic in nature? That hydrogen liberates in the form of H+. So, therefore, it is acidic in nature because this is bonded to highly electron withdrawing SO2 group. Therefore, this white residue, when it dissolves in NaOH or when it reacts with NaOH, it dissolves in sodium hydroxide solution. Why this residue dissolves in sodium hydroxide solution? Due to the presence of acidic hydrogen. Now, when it reacts with strong base, say sodium hydroxide, it gives a salt. How it gives a salt? C2H5 N minus SO2 C6H5 Na plus. Sodium salt of N-ethyl benzene sulfonamide. It gives a sodium salt of N-ethyl benzene sulfonamide with the formation of water. Neutralization takes place here because of the presence of acidic hydrogen. Why it is acidic? Because SO2 is strongly electron withdrawing. Clear? Now, if we move on to the reaction with secondary amine. So, same reaction. So, note down this. It is a salt obtained when it dissolves in a base. White residue. You will get a white residue. And this is, note down here, soluble in NaOH, that is with a strong base, or you can say alkali. It dissolves in alkali or with a strong base. Now take the second example, and it is primary amine. I took the ethyl amine. Now I will take the secondary amine called diethyl amine. Secondary amine, it is diethyl amine. When it reacts with benzene sulfonyl chloride C6H5. See here, again it combines with H and Cl to give C2H5 twice N SO2 C6H5 plus HCl. It also gives a white residue. It also gives white residue. But what is the name? N-N-diethyl benzene sulfonamide. So it gives the product called white residue. The name of the white residue is N-N-diethyl benzene sulfonamide. So this is the product formed and it is a white residue. So this also gives a white residue. Then how we can distinguish whether the amine is primary or the secondary? So both gives white residue, but primary amine gives a white residue which is soluble in NaOH, but this residue is insoluble in NaOH. This is very, very important. This is insoluble in NaOH. Why it is insoluble? Because there is no acidic hydrogen here. Since there is no acidic hydrogen, it does not soluble in NaOH or the alkali. So this is the difference of reaction of primary amine with benzene sulfonyl chloride or the Hinsberg reagent, and the reaction of secondary amine with benzene sulfonyl chloride. And this is about the reaction. What about tertiary? So for tertiary, if we take triethyl amine, there is no hydrogen for the replacement. Therefore, tertiary amine does not give either the substituted benzene sulfonamide, as it does not containing replaceable hydrogen. Since it does not containing replaceable hydrogen, so we cannot go with the reaction of this tertiary amine. If you take triethyl amine, means there is no reaction with Hinsberg reagent and no residue is formed by the tertiary amine. But nowadays this benzene sulfonyl chloride is replaced by para-toluene sulfonyl chloride. So it is replaced by para-toluene sulfonyl chloride. Para-toluene sulfonyl chloride. This is sulfonyl chloride, benzene sulfonyl chloride, para-toluene So at the para position we have methyl group. So para-toluene sulfonyl chloride. Nowadays we are using, instead of benzene sulfonyl chloride, para-toluene sulfonyl chloride can also be used to distinguish this primary and the secondary amine. The product is same. So here you will get white residue, but this is soluble and it is insoluble due to the absence of acidic hydrogen. That you have to remember, no hydrogen here, therefore it does not dissolve in a base. So this is about the reaction of amines with Hinsberg reagent. So this reaction is very important. Okay. So let us consider reaction due to benzene ring or the reactions of aromatic amines in the next class. Thank you.